Now with that out of your system, just sit and relax. Look closely at some of the beliefs that you formed back then about yourself, about life and other people. Particularly noticing any decisions you make. The decision about who you thought you were, who you thought they were, what you thought you needed to become in order to survive. Because it's at these moments of being overwhelmed with this rage and this anger that sometimes we give in. We give in and become someone else. We start identifying with someone else because we feel hopeless, helpless to be able to survive any other way. Many throw in the towel, just give up of trying to be themselves, and then take on all of those attributes they feel that they must to survive, to get their needs met, because they're still in a helpless position in childhood, in early teen years, and aren't able yet to take care of themselves. Make a note of that. Look at that. Begin to understand the principles and dynamics between you and your mother and your father and anybody else involved in these moments of rage. And please, don't minimize them. Don't start telling yourself it's not really that bad or I didn't feel that way back then when you know you did. You may even ask a brother or a sister or somebody else involved if they remember what it was like. And a lot of you might have just held all your emotions so much inside as to pretend you didn't want them to know how much they were hurting you. So you sucked it up. You held it inside. You put on that false face. And you didn't want to give them the satisfaction of knowing the pain you had inside. So you split yourself. Inside your mind was one thing, inside your body and emotions was something else. And we create pretense, false fronts. And we never really solve that problem in our life because now, which way do we go? We have two confusing splits, the split of mind, body, and emotions. And this is a normal state of affair for most human beings. They learn not to show what's going on inside for whatever reason. And then they take on traits, personality traits, including becoming just like the very person they're raging against. Since they can't get love from that person, and they want that person, they think they need that person, so in their minds they become it. They so focus on that, they become that person and all of a sudden take on those same characteristics. And they go about their lives later on doing the same things to their family and friends as was done to them. It's crazy, but we all do it. Here, it's about learning, being aware, bringing it from the unconscious mind into consciousness so that it can't throw you into the trance state. Remember, the trance state is about fixing your attention on one thing, and then it comes up from the unconscious mind as if it's happening to you and regresses you to a line of thinking, feeling, and acting as you did or felt you needed to back then to survive. Except you're doing it now 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years later, and it's completely inappropriate. It's completely infantile, and you know it. You know it. It's silly because you're making all these demands on other people. You're making a demand on everyone around you, your environment, your boss, your relationships, the world, to get what you think you need to survive, except those needs are from back then in your early childhood. You see, it all starts coming together. As you start writing these things down, you see the patterns, how you've mentally constructed who you are. It's all made up. It's a construction project. You're drawing it here, there, and everywhere else to survive. I mean, that is one of the underlying impulses that we have as a human being. So take a look at that. Be aware of that. And consider some new ideas, new decisions, that when you fully face and embrace those decisions and beliefs you made back then that you know do not work well now, consider helpful new ideas and decisions, beliefs, to replace those old unworkable ideas with something that keeps you connected to what you want today. Peace, happiness, love, fulfillment. You see? Knowing that you're no longer helpless to take care of your needs. You're strong. You're grown up. Be that grown up. Think as that grown up. Someone who is empowered. Someone who can make better choices now and doesn't need to stay in stifling relationships because of what you used to think you got from that person and the fear of not getting it. We're teaching you to stand up on your own 2 feet. Now, for some people, if you've got a big punching bag, you might want to punch it or take a bat and smash against it. There's many different creative ways. You don't always have to just do the tennis racket, but that does work very, very well. Find a way that opens your breathing, breaks through the armoring, lets out the voice, the emotion, and lets you start looking at all the grievances you've been holding on to. So you can begin the forgiveness process, the releasing process. And I don't mean just saying I forgive you. I mean I've released this out of my system. I feel so much better. And now I can replace it with the happy memories that we had. That will be in one of the other modules that we have here on the Deep Healing series, on the forgiveness portions. We're not looking to go there quite yet. But we will. And feel free to forgive yourself for anything you've held on to, anything you've been harboring for all these years. Because it is time to let go and remember to give up all hope of trying to make the past any better. Just not possible, is it? Because it's over!